What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sideline to Sideline. We are back. We had a little bit of a Christmas vacation, and we have a full house tonight. A lot to talk about. A lot of meaningful NFL. A lot of games coming up this week. There's a few, maybe one. If you had on your bingo card Bailey Zappi starting the last week of the season, then you're excited. You're ready to roll. But maybe Kyle is the only one that might have had that because he used to play for the Patriots. But without further ado, let's give the introductions here. We got the Prince of Production. We got Kyle up here. He's the New England Patriots fan undercover in Atlanta. You know, he's figuring out what's going on down there. By the way, it's still an S show down there, right? Is it still like it's just a complete mismatch of crap? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yep.
Yeah.
We got Guardy.
They're
Guardy
trying to
free
miss the
here.
playoffs, Gonna do the thing.
Not guarding the one, guarding the two, and he's also not feel. He might not be feeling too confident about the Packers, but maybe he expected them to lose. Maybe he didn't. But some would say they might be backing into the playoffs. Some might not. We got Chase here, who's got an embarrassment of riches. He's a Chiefs fan, so I hope it rains all week down there and it's cold. But anyway, with that, we got me. I'm an Eagles fan. We got some controversy. Should Barkley sit or should he not? All that great stuff. And then next to me, we got the NFL genius, and that rounds out all five of us. And combined, we make the powers to be of Sideline to Sideline. What's up, everybody? Football time this week.
What's popping? So I am very, very interested in the takes of my man Chase, Brett, and Kyle. I was the only one on my ledge talking about Saquon Barkley should be sitting this week. I was the only one. But we'll get into that shortly. We got to recap a couple games that happened last week. And we're only going to recap the big ones. One of the games I want to recap is, Kyle, I feel like that you have the biggest nose to this. It felt like all game the Atlanta Falcons were dominating the game. It was a game I picked. And then at the end of the game, I don't understand what happened. Raheem Morris happened. Michael Penix completes a pass for 19 yards. They run to the lines. You got 2 timeouts. You can't leave with them. They don't go home with you. And they let the clock run all the way down. And then they got a PI. And then they end up kicking a field goal, 54 yards, and Younghoe Koo just didn't have the leg. But if you have an extra 12 seconds, you might be able to run another play and get in Koo territory. And now just because Raheem Morris wanted to hold a timeout in his pocket, the Atlanta Falcons are not playing in the playoffs unless the Buccaneers lose. Kyle, what were your thoughts on the clock game management in Atlanta? I mean, that's an all-time bonehead move.
Yeah, and it's like Penix completes the pass. You see him as he's running to the line. He's looking to the sideline like what are we doing here? And then I guess he gets nothing because they show Raheem Morris, and Raheem Morris is like staring off into space for whatever reason. So Penix goes, okay, get to the line, and he called something. I give him that credit because we saw Caleb Williams when it happened to him, and he was standing there. He had linemen talking about go, 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 and he was looking around like okay, what do we do? At least Penix showed something there. But I don't understand. You have 2 timeouts, like you said, 12 seconds, and it's Riley Patterson because Koo is hurt.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Riley Patterson.
I don't know much about Riley Patterson, but if you come up that short on a 54-yarder, you probably shouldn't be an NFL kicker.
The same Riley Patterson that was cut from the Lions earlier in the season.
I mean, if you don't miss a kick from 54, at least hook it or slice it or something. He came up yards short. That's embarrassing. But
I felt like that was more than a yard short.
It really was. That's crazy to me. But yeah, this, obviously, if the Falcons miss the playoffs, that image of Raheem Morris just standing on the sideline, staring into space, is going to be the image of the season. And like Jory said, Raheem Morris was on the staff for 28-3. Now you have this. There's going to be a lot of people do we need to keep this guy around for a second season if this is what he's going to do? And I'm not one to, fire coaches after one season because you got to give them time to, whatever. But since Morris has been there before, I feel like it's a little bit different with him. And They already made the mistake with the Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix situation. Now we got to worry about you and clock management. Like, what are we doing here? And we know everybody's gonna be going after Ben Johnson and all these guys that are out there. I think that might be his lasting image with the Falcons this year.
I don't think they make the playoffs. I don't think there's.
I don't either.
Buccaneers lose to the
I'm not betting against
and the Saints.
I'm not betting against the Baconeers right now. The way that they're going.
Gardy
Baconeers.
Gardy 3. Your thoughts on the Falcons game? I'm going to make a statement, and I want you, Gardy 3. I want you to give me a live reaction to my statement. Come off mute. I want you to give me a live reaction to my statement. The Washington Commanders are the luckiest, most fortunate playoff team you will ever watch in your entire life. And what I mean by that is a Raheem Morris blown timeout, a fail Mary by Tyreek Stevenson taunting the crowd while the ball's up in the air, them nosediving into Jalen Hurts being able to come back in that football game. I think they stink. Am I wrong to say that?
No, I think Washington is just going to get absolutely cooked in the playoffs. They arguably have the worst cornerback room in the league. That stuff is terrible, and they've been incredibly lucky to make it to this point. Obviously,
cornerback, right?
Yeah, cornerback.
I'll take Jaden Daniels. I think.
Oh yeah. No.
Hear me there for a minute.
No, but they've been really lucky to get to this point. How I felt with the Falcons calling a timeout is very similar during the Manning cast of when Peyton was watching the Broncos make the same mistake, and he's like, "Okay, let's call one." Like he just said, "You're matching the timeout." That's really how I felt. I'm watching, like, okay, like let's run a play, let's call a timeout, let's do something, and they didn't. Overall, Raheem Morris isn't a rookie. We've seen him coach before, so this is just an absolutely inexcusable blunder. And I think it's very possible that Morris loses his job over this season, and we could be looking at a new coach for the Falcons.
Chase, your thoughts on the game? Godfrey, you're next. I promise. I got you.
Sorry?
Your thoughts on the game? Your thoughts on Raheem Morris?
Let's talk about a couple of things. Number one, shame on you, Gene, for trying to divert the attention to the horrible dog water organization that is the Atlanta Falcons to the Washington Commanders. Who cares if the Washington Commanders are lucky or not? I mean, let's talk about absolute dog. Can I say dog shit? I'm gonna say.
Yeah, go ahead. Have fun.
Send me
We're
my
on Roku. Sorry, Northeast Sports.
Yeah, send me my fine in the mail. I mean, are we kidding? You know, Jory had it summed up best. I mean, he was on the staff. He sucked then. Why would you bring him back? You know, and why? You know, I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna say it. Out of all of the people of color head coaches that were more qualified to head coach this team, they picked the worst possible candidate. Like, you're standing there staring off.
Flores would have done better,
huh?
You don't mean Flores would have done better?
That's a real question?
I know it's a joke because I've been the number one fan of Brian Flores.
I think Eric Bieniemy would have done better.
I agree. Eric Bieniemy and Justin Fields was the move.
Yeah,
it was the move.
Flores would have had that defense humming.
Yeah.
You're going to hire a defensive guy to be your head coach. You went with Raheem Morris over Brian Flores. Are you out of your freaking mind? Can we talk about for a second how this guy's going to win Coach of the Year in Minnesota, and that defense is ranked?
Yeah.
Brian Flores should win Coordinator of the Year. Do they have that award?
No.
They're 14-2.
Yeah.
I had the Vikings finishing 4-14. I'm kidding. 4-13.
But Flores can't get a job because Flores wouldn't say, yes, daddy, to letting Sean Payton come and take his job.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the nicest way I could put it. But hey, let's give guys like Raheem Morris another shot. You stand there and watch. You could have called a timeout.
It was terrible. It was so bad.
With the season on the line.
Godfrey, sound off. God, you're right. I knew you're going to hold him back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a poverty franchise. I don't know what else to say. They have a fake they have an eagle in the front, not a falcon in front of their stadium. It's an eagle. So,
It is. I cannot
All
believe
right.
that's allowed.
yeah, it's an eagle. There's no pride down there. And the thing about the Atlanta Falcons is they were doomed because the guy making the decisions, the GM, he sucks already. So it's just stacking crap on top of crap on top of crap with no bread, complete poop sandwich. I mean, listen, some of these coaches, the reason why I think they stink is they need to say to the quarterback, like, listen, man, you're out on the field. If you think we need to call a timeout, you call a timeout. Don't look back at me and say, what's up? You're out there. You're the general. Call a timeout. Empower these younger quarterbacks. And to Kyle's point, Pennett's got something done, but I feel like Eberflus was in the building somewhere being a quality control coach for him, and then the timeout got messed up. It was like, dude, and here's the thing: the Falcons are lucky. The Commanders like Falcons are lucky. I mean, listen, Eagles gifted them a game with that drop ball. They're not even in the conversation, and they're in a softer division. They have some good talent on defense. They have some talent on offense, and they just don't know how to put together a winning program. I'm blown away. Raheem Morris, I wasn't overwhelmed by the hire. I was like, why Raheem Morris? I don't know. There's a lot of chatter about him, and they hired him. Great. I'm glad you gave him a chance, but I wasn't impressed with him then. You're like, maybe he's going to resurface and show us something different. Nope. He reaffirmed who he is, but the Falcons being the Falcons, they're going to give him another year. They'll probably extend this GM, and then they'll just be in purgatory for as long as possible. I mean, they've made some of the dumbest moves I've seen, and it looks like Penix might work out, but that wasn't a master calculation. You spent 40+ million guaranteed. Yeah. Well, I mean,
are we really saying he's had 2 good football games? Is that like what we're not? That can't be real.
No, he's not.
Got to be out on Penix. We can't say it looks like he might work out. We can't say.
Well, compared to what they had before, he can actually throw the ball off his back foot and drive it, where Kirk Cousins was really sitting in a rocking chair because he hasn't covered from a Achilles and he's older. Big surprise.
Just want to be clear: 19 to 35, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a 40.3 quarterback rating isn't the definition of working out.
Yeah, I'm saying the bar's low there right now. The bar is low. That's why they started him. They're like, wow, we can't even pass the ball. So
I'm not saying Penix is not going to work out. I just don't want to say he's made it already.
No, he hasn't made it. Not at all. But
good. Sorry.
He hasn't made it. Not at all. But even if he did and he had a perfect quarterback rating, you didn't plan that. You made an oh shit pick. You know what I mean? I
can't believe that. I still replay that time when Chase read that out on the air, and I was just like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. They have to be trading us. No, they didn't. I will never forget that night.
Mm-hmm.
So
and by the way, they've made every wrong decision you can make in this entire season. They hired the wrong coach. You could have hired Bieniemy. You could have hired Flores. You hired Raheem Morris. You got the wrong quarterback. You could have had Justin Fields for next to nothing. You got Kirk Cousins. You could have drafted a pass rusher. You drafted a quarterback after you paid another one $100 million. They made every wrong move you can make. I feel like I'm watching any given Sunday. I've made every wrong move a middle-aged man could make. That's the Atlanta Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they drafted a lot of offensive type of players. Why not hire an offensive coach?
Can I ask a question? Is Willie Beeman like the guy taking over for Cap Rooney? Is that like Michael Penix taking over for Kirk Cousins? And the Sharks are going to get in the playoffs the last game of the regular season. And then what they don't
Willie
show
Beeman
in
had
that
some
movie,
good games though in that movie.
what they don't show in that movie is how they get blown the hell out the next week. It's like a footnote. Like, well, the next week the Sharks lost 47-3. Like, just I don't know.
I would agree with you if Penix put out a sweet rap video, but he didn't. Like Willie Beeman.
They call me Steamin'.
Yeah,
Willie Beeman and the girl. I'm not. All right, I'm done. I do next topic just real quick. Guardy 3, I'm gonna start you because I have a question. The Green Bay Packers came up short again in a very big football game. And what I mean by this is, look, I've been on record. I love Jordan Love. I've turned the page on Jordan Love. But I want to read something out to you, Brett, and I want you to tell me what stands out to you. Lost to the Eagles by 5. They beat the Colts. They beat the Titans. They lost to the Vikings by 2. They beat the Rams by 5. There you go. It's a big win. Playoff team win. Beat the Cardinals by like 21. Beat the Texans by 2. The Jaguars by 3. Lost to the Lions by 10. Beat the Bears by 1. Beat the 49ers. That's a big win, but I don't think Purdy played in that game. Beat the Dolphins. Lost to the Lions by 3. Beat the Seahawks. Destroyed the Saints. Lost to the Vikings by 2. They have played the class of the NFC 5 games. The top 3 records in the NFC, 5 games, and they are 0-5 in those games. Do the Packers have a – and by the way, those games aren't blowouts. I mean, the Lions beat them the one game by 10 earlier in the season.
We've lost those games on an average of 4.4 points. Yeah.
You already have the math. And most of them are 2 points. 2 points in 3 of those. So do the Packers have a can't win the big game, can't win the moment? Do you think that there's a problem maybe inside? Like they have to get over that hurdle. I'm not saying it's a long-term problem. I think Jordan Love can 100% get over the hurdle. But do you think that they have an issue winning maybe down the stretch, a close game versus a good team?
I think it's it's not down the stretch because like if you look at that Vikings game where we lost,
you're right.
Jordan Love went 3 touchdowns and 1 interception in the fourth quarter alone. He heats up down the stretch. The problem is in those games is the Packers don't get going early and dig themselves into big holes. And then even just against the Vikings, now we try to make this furious comeback. Right. Well, when you put yourself down 20-3 in the first, the second quarter, that's not easy to do against the top seeded in the NFC. So I think offensively, I think we can, but the key will be getting on the board early and getting rolling early. If we do that, we can compete with anybody. Jordan Love, as soon as we get further into the game, he's just seemingly gets better. Defensively, 2 big problems there. The pass rush, our guys aren't winning our one-on-ones. We're paying 2 guys top of the market money. We're just not winning our one-on-ones. The quarterbacks have all day to sit back. And then our linebackers and middle of the field is wide open. Our coverage there is just not great. So I think the Packers have a problem starting games, and then when we get to defense, the good teams know, hey, I can throw at Quay Walker, easy money. As long as I don't loft one near Xavier McKinney over the middle, it's easy money. So I think the Packers have problems. I still think we can win. It almost feels like we still might be a year away from really being one of the true competitors in the North or in just the NFC in general. But I think we're really close.
The North. 2 of the top 3 teams are in your division.
Yeah, so it just seems like we just start out slow and unprepared, and we get better as the game goes along, but by then we just dig ourselves in too deep of a hole, and it's too late.
Yeah, you got Jesus O'Connell coaching the Vikings, turning water into wine with Sam Darnold. So it's you guys are catching a break.
Kevin O'Connell, it's great job. We'll talk about that in a minute. Chase, this question is for you. Yeah, I wanted to give Guardy 3 the Packers question. I'm going to give you. Can we talk about the fact that all year it's the Chiefs are lucky? The Chiefs are getting, blocked field goal and, teams miss a field goal or a penalty here or a toe there or a missed call here. The referees, but we're here in another Arrowhead Invitational in which the Kansas City Chiefs are sitting all their starters the last week of the season, have 2 full weeks to get healthy with the number 1 receiver in Hollywood Brown back, with DeAndre Hopkins, Travis Kelce in the playoffs, elite defense, and the best quarterback in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, and I don't mean for you to sound cocky. I really want the breakdown version. Is this not rinse and repeat? Is this Chiefs team just different? There's no difference. There's no difference. They're 15-1.
You literally took the words right out of my mouth. Wash, rinse, repeat. We do this every year. My good friend Nick Wright says my good friend Nick Wright says it's just practice, baby. Week 1 to 17, it's just practice. And I don't want to. If we'd had this conversation last year or the year before, I'd have been like, Gene, I don't want to come off cocky, man. After 7 straight AFC championships, 3 Super Bowls, getting ready to do it or getting ready to try and go for a three-peat. I can't help but sound cocky at this point. My
Can we
entire
censor-
life,
Can we
my
censor
entire
Chase?
life watching Romeo Crennel, Todd
Oh.
Haley, Matt Castle, Elvis Gerbach over Richard Elvis Gerbach over Rich Gannon, all these things that you endure as a fan, and then to come to this point. But no, the reality is, the defense has kept them in the games. The offense has had struggles, but they've had to try and figure it out. And is it a coincidence that they're starting to click on all cylinders at the end of November, beginning of December? Maybe. I don't know. But obviously signing DeAndre Hopkins was a huge help. Giving the Chiefs an opportunity to figure out, hey, what can work on offense and what not. And yeah, we're coming to the inaugural Arrowhead Invitational. And this idea, I don't want to harp on this too much because I'll continue. But this idea that the Chiefs are scared of Joe Burrow and the Bengals coming to Arrowhead is just absolutely insane.
All right, hold on. I'm going to stop you for a minute. Chase, you might not be scared of Joe Burrow and the Bengals coming to Arrowhead, but on the list of teams that if you could choose an order of operations of the 8 remaining teams that are available for the playoffs to play in the AFC Championship game, they got to be the bottom of the list. They have to be at the bottom of the list. Like, you would choose to play the Houston Texans over the Bengals, right? Easy. I'm going to start you off easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Bengals have to be the bottom of that list.
Close, yeah.
They're the team you don't want to play.
I'll
tell you who doesn't want to play them. I'll make it very simple. The Buffalo Bills are shaking in their goddamn boots. Because if the Bengals make the 7th seed and play at Buffalo, every Buffalo Bills fan is going to remember what happened 2 years ago. What Joe Cool did there. I get it. They're not scared to play the Bengals. I don't think anybody really believes they're scared to play the Bengals. But I will say this, and I want to ask the rest of it. I heard your soliloquy on it. I'm going to ask the rest of the panel, if you were picking the AFC Super Bowl, going to the Super Bowl, not winning it, going to the Super Bowl, are you taking the Chiefs or are you taking the field? Kyle, I'll start with you. You get every other team.
I'd have to take the Chiefs. I'm not buying. Well, we know I'm not buying Baltimore. Like that's a given. I could be persuaded with Buffalo, but we've seen it, and until they kind of get through that mental block in the playoffs, I would still take the Chiefs over them. After that, it'd be a lot to ask Pittsburgh to do it. The Chargers, so I would take the Chiefs over the field right now.
Brett, the Chiefs or the field?
Oh, easily the Chiefs. I think there's only 2 teams that I trust that might actually have a slight chance to beat them. Obviously, that's the Bills and the Ravens. But even then, in either of those games, I'd pick the Chiefs. So I would take the Chiefs for sure.
Just to be clear, there's 3 teams that can beat them. The Bills, the Bengals, and the Ravens. Don't leave the Bengals out.
I'm leaving the Bengals. I don't think they beat them.
I would pick the Bengals. I'm with you, Gene. I think the Bengals are a team
I would pick the Bengals over the Ravens.
Correct. That's why I put it in that order. I said Bills, Bengals, Ravens.
Okay. I thought you said you're picking the Bengals over the Chiefs. So
no. I said 2 teams have a chance to beat them, and I said there's 3 teams that have a chance to beat them.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to say this, and you guys might mock me for this. In the world of greatness, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL, and he's the greatest quarterback in the NFL. If I was building a franchise that was starting tomorrow, and I could start with any player in the NFL, and I could build my team around him, I'd start with Joe Burrow, not Patrick Mahomes.
I think Joe Burrow is great. I just don't trust that Bengals defense to hold Mahomes under 40, and that's why I don't believe in them to.
That was not the question.
Yeah, that's fair.
Patty Mahomes for me, man.
That's fair. I'm sure everybody else here would do that. I'm telling you, me personally, that's my world. What?
I said it. I said it last week, maybe a couple weeks ago. Out of the four, or out of the three, if we took Patrick Mahomes off the table and it's Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Joe's last for me. I'm sorry.
And that's where we disagree.
Joe has a fantastic football mind. He does. You know who else had a fantastic football mind, guys? Tony Romo.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Tony Romo never won an AFC championship game or NFC championship game. Tony Romo never went to a Super Bowl. Tony Romo
also never had the number one wide receiver and two of the
yes, he did.
Other players that were top five at their position.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I don't know, man. I will go Joey B after Mahomes because
yes.
Here's the thing. The reason why I'm taking Mahomes is he has an adamantium skeleton. He's like Wolverine. He refuses to get hurt. He'll have a high ankle sprain. He's like, I'm healed in a week, half a quarter. So that durability is hard to pass up with that combination.
Matt, Godfrey, what I'm really saying, and I just want to be clear, I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in football.
No, I know.
I'm not saying he's greater than Patrick Mahomes. What I am saying is one guy's already won 3 Super Bowls and one guy hasn't, and I would take the hungrier guy that has not won 3 Super Bowls going forward. If I would take Burrow over Allen. I was starting a franchise, which means I would build an offensive line around him. Like I would give him a defense. Like if you took Joe Burrow off now, granted, this is I brought this up years ago. It's funny because the San Francisco 49ers could actually afford this. If you took Joe Burrow off of the Cincinnati Bengals and just placed himself, just Joe Burrow, on the San Francisco 49ers, they go undefeated. They wouldn't lose a football game. And then we'd be talking about Joe Burrow's Tom Brady. Situations matter, guys. They matter. Now,
you got to factor in the Kyle Shanahan bell curve, though, on that.
I don't think there is a bell curve, though. Kyle Shanahan has done more with less than any offensive coach ever. Do I need to remind you of the quarterbacks this man's taken to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo. Are you out of your fucking mind? Excuse me.
Well, I mean, when does Brock Purdy not become less? When does he become more, right? Because
this year he became less. Did anybody else watch him this year?
Yeah, I'm not a huge Brock Purdy fan, but he did lose Trent Williams. They had a lot of
That's what Joe Burrow deals with every day. He doesn't have Trent Williams.
But Jamar Chase is a huge weapon, and T. Higgins.
They have Debo and Brandon Ayuk with George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey, bro. I'll take the 49ers weapons over Jamar Chase and the T. Higgins that doesn't want to be there. Like, are we serious right now? If you put Joe Burrow on last year's 49ers team, they win the game by 14. It's not even close.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we're throwing Purdy in this argument, I'm going Joey B all the way.
Well, yeah, I listen, I'm just hypothetically speaking. Obviously, that's not going to happen, and Patrick Mahomes is going to grow down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback of all time. And I think he's incredible. I was the one to compare Patrick Mahomes to Michael Jordan 3 years ago, and everybody's like, you're an asshole for saying that. And I'm like, he's like nothing we've ever seen. And I was right.
No, I think he's special.
They asked his NFL comp. They were doing NFL comps on Wire to Wire.
I remember that episode.
And I got yelled at. I got called.
That was Shally behind most of that yelling, though. That was Shally that was like, don't do that, bro.
Charles did it too. They all called me an idiot for saying Patrick Mahomes is like an alien. He's like Michael Jordan. He's like something we've never seen before. I said Burrow and Herbert remind me a lot of Brady and Manning. And he goes, well, you can't say that. The next game we're going to talk about is Brady and Manning. I said Mahomes and Allen are not Brady and Manning. They're just not the same players. And he goes, well, who'd you compare Mahomes to? I said Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And they looked at me like, what? I'm like, he's like something you've never seen before. It's like you had Magic and Bird in the NBA, and we're like, oh, it's Mahomes and it's Brady and Peyton Manning with Magic and Bird. And then Michael Jordan came in the league and was just like, my league.
I just feel like Mahomes is a nerd that loves football, and he eats, sleeps, and breathes it. And I get a little bit from Joey B. I really get that though from Mahomes. Like Joey B's got his Eminem haircut and his fancy girlfriend that lives there. Patrick Mahomes got the girl that everybody hates, and he doesn't care. And it's like and he's probably playing Sega right now. We don't even know it, right? Like I'm just saying, like he's one of those guys where it's like, yeah, he might be living at his parents' house if the situation's different. I just feel like he's one of those dudes who's just playing football, and that's what he wants to do, and that's all he cares about, and that's what he eats, sleeps, and breathes. Like he's a different animal. He's the best.
All right, guys. I have a fun activity for you guys. I kind of gave, I think Brett and Chase, or Kyle and Chase, a warning. Brett and Godfrey, I'm sorry. I'm throwing this out there on you. It's going to be fun. It's a fun exercise. I'm going to give you guys all one pick. Don't cheat. If you cheat, you're corny. Don't do it. I'm going to ask you, because we're about to talk about the Pro Bowl, the number one PFF graded player at every position in the NFL through 17 weeks. We'll start at quarterback.
Go Joe Burrow.
Okay. Everybody gets one vote. Everybody gets one. It's like
that's going to be my vote. I was going to go Joe Burrow.
Okay.
I'll guess Lamar.
Okay. Chase.
I'll go Lamar.
The answer is Lamar Jackson. Oh, hold on. I lost you guys.
Oh.
I'm here. I just need to. There we go. Got it right here. All right. So now I got it on both screens. That was the move. I was trying to get it on both screens so I can read it and like message you, like just literally see it and then switch it real quick. So kind of messed up for a second, but now I'm back.
Is Joey B second?
Joe B second. Joe Burrow second. Josh Allen's third. Justin Herbert's fourth. What? All right. Next one. Wide receivers is listed next.
Oh, and Chase is one. There's
You're never going to get it. I'll give you. That's the only hint I'll give you. You won't get it if you think your first reaction. I'll give you hints.
Well, then it can't be Jamar Chase because that's the obvious one.
It's not. Obviously.
Oh,
I'm going Justin Jefferson.
Jetta's okay. Jetta's is 4. Chase is 10.
I'm gonna take a wild guess because if we're doing PFF, they do weird crap. Let's go.
You already got. You're not allowed to guess twice.
Okay.
I'll go. Man, because I was thinking Chase too.
I get it. That's what happens when you guess too quick.
I can't
You don't get the Gene hint.
I don't know. I'll start a random name like DK Metcalf. I know it's not him, but I can't.
DK Metcalf is like 600.
Yeah,
I think he's last. Nice, 34. Brett.
Oh goodness. You know, I'll throw out a little bit of a wild one this year. Let's see. It's not Devontae Adams, is it?
No, it's Puka Nacua.
that name actually. Yeah, that name was in the back of my mind when you said we weren't guessing, but I mean he's had a good year. Okay.
I was gonna guess Terry McLaurin.
Running back. Number one running back. PFF grade. Not your opinion. PFF grade.
Bijan Robinson.
He's number 2.
Oh. I'll go Derrick Henry.
That is correct. He got the first one, got it right. He gets it. As soon as you get it right, you get it right. I should stop doing that. Let's let everybody pick next time. I apologize. Kyle, you're correct. Derrick Henry is number 1. I'm sorry. I apologize. I have to figure these things out.
Puka's only played 11 games though. I don't know, man. I hate their grading system sometimes.
I like it because a lot of it's very accurate. Derrick Henry's got to be top 3. Everyone's been top 3 outside of
I don't have a problem with Derrick Henry, but Puka, I think that's balls.
Tight end. I'll put it this way, right? I think the top 3 tight ends on PFF are the top 3 tight ends this year.
There's no way it's not Brock Bowers.
Okay. Brock Bowers is your pick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll second that. I'm going to go Brock Bowers.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy needs a massage.
Yeah. I can't think of anybody else. I'll go Brock Bowers.
Brett?
Yeah, I'm going to go Bowers too.
All of you guys swept this category at number 2. Brock Bowers is number 2. Number 1, George Kittle.
Okay.
I get it. Now I'm going to be a little tough here. Tackles. Now, Godfrey, do not answer this question.
I mean,
Jackie
does that mean
Slater.
it's Lane Johnson? I don't.
Lane Johnson, is that your pick? Okay. Brett?
I actually, I know, I do know this
Oh,
one.
you heard from the show?
Actually, no. I was looking through PFF earlier.
Okay. Chase, want to take a guess?
I'll go Detroit. Detroit's tackle Armstead.
Or
Go-
Armstead. Armstead's for Miami. Penny
Yeah,
Sewell
sorry.
for Detroit.
It's
Armstead is number 2. Penny Sewell is number 4. Lane Johnson is number 7. A non-Pro Bowl player is number 1. And in my opinion, he's one of the most underrated players in football. He's got the highest grade by 4.5 points. It is the widest margin of gap. He has a 95.8 PFF grade, and it is Jordan Mailata. I think that's the biggest Pro Bowl snub in the NFL. But we'll get there.
Put it that way, then yeah.
Guards is a really tough one. We'll kind of skim through the offensive line. I wanted to get to the Jordan Mailata thing, but guards is a tough one. Anyone want to take any guesses? Let's just go quick here.
Kevin Zeitler.
Zeitler's number 2. It's a good guess.
Trent Smith.
Trey Smith, you mean?
Trey
For
Smith.
Chiefs?
Sorry.
Number 11. Not bad. Good guess.
I don't
11's
even
not
have,
bad.
I don't even have a guess. So.
Chris Lindstrom, Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
All right. And then centers. All right. So this is kind of you guys are all going to guess number 2, and number 2 or number 3 should be the right answer. But that's good.
Frank Ragnow.
He's number 3.
Man.
Should be there.
I'm going to guess Creed Humphrey.
Number 2, he should be there. Should be one of those two. The guy they have listed number 1 is Eric McCoy of the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they've had a great season. Makes sense.
Cornerbacks.
Corners.
John Stubbs in here.
I'm going to guess Patrick Surtain.
Okay. Patrick Surtain. Anybody else?
I'm gonna go Homer and pick my guy Christian Gonzalez.
Christian Gonzalez. Let me see where he's at.
I
It's
mean,
not
I
him.
know it's not him. I mean,
I like the Homer pick. Where's he at? He's not even top Patriot. Marcus Jones is the top listed Patriot.
Really? Okay.
Not in the top 50.
Disrespecting my boy.
Oh, I'm lying. He's 10. I scrolled right past him. He's 10.
Okay.
10's good.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Surtain. Why not?
The answer is Patrick Surtain. The guy's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. He's an absolute shutdown corner.
Well, where's McDuffie at?
2nd.
Interesting. I like that.
Safeties. This is correct. Judging by a guy that watches more football than probably anybody you've ever met in your life, this is correct. 1 and 2 are correct.
I'll go. I have like 2 names, but I'll say Kirby Joseph.
That's it.
I was going to Homer pick Xavier McKinney.
He's number 4. That's not a bad pick.
Yeah, I was going to go McKinney too.
McKinney's a great pick. He's number 4. Kyle Hamilton's number 2 is what I said was correct too. And then we'll go to linebackers and interior defenders. Linebackers.
Zach Bond. No, they're probably not. But
Kyle.
I just forgot his name. I feel like it's an obvious one, but I can't think of the name right now.
Right.
Fred Warner. You
I
said
was going to, yeah.
I still answered. My bad.
No, you're good. I was going to go Fred Warner too.
Yeah. I don't know why his name slipped my mind. That's what I was going to say.
Fred Warner is number 2. Number 1 is Zach Bond.
Oh, okay.
And interior defenders. I think the top 4 are, I think they're missing one in the top 4, but I think the top 4 all absolute should be there. I agree with the grading system. There's a lot of ones where you look at Puka, you're like, all right, Jamar Chase is better. Like, I can get that, right? But a lot of these are correct, in my opinion.
Gonna guess Chris Jones.
It's a good guess. Number 3.
Okay.
Anyone take any other guesses? It's great guess.
I mean, John did take my second person, I would say.
What did John? I didn't see it. I have the comments taken down.
Hayward.
That is correct, John. Cameron Hayward, it is close. Dexter Lawrence is Sexy Dexy is number 2. Chris Jones 3, Leonard Williams 4. And then last but certainly not least, the edge rush. I'll do kicker too, just for fun. I'm going to eliminate the first edge rusher because he got hurt in the middle of the season. Aiden Hutchinson's listed as number 1, so I don't want to. I'll go 2, 3, 4. By the way, 2, 3, 4 are 2, 3, 4. 100.
I'll go Max Crosby.
Max is like 100.
Is that far down?
Yeah, he's not on the list.
What about the sack daddy?
Who's the sack daddy?
The guy that plays for the Texans. Oh man.
Will Anderson?
No, I was going with someone else.
Danielle Hunter?
Yeah.
Number 12.
Hey, what? Nope.
I think John Suggs has the list up at this point. It's Myles Garrett. It's Aiden Hutchinson, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Nick Bosa.
He's buried in Cleveland.
And just for the hell of it, who do you think the number 1 PFF? Oh, they don't have it. Never mind. I thought they had kickers. They don't have it. That'd have been fun. They don't have kickers and punters. All right, that's it for PFF. Let's get into the Pro Bowl, gentlemen. I'm going to pull up the Pro Bowl rosters.
Good old Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl roster. You guys want to do the AFC first or the NFC? The first thing I hear, I'm going with.
Let's go AFC.
All right, we're doing AFC. That's the first thing I heard. All right, offense for quarterbacks. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Any issues?
No.
If you're going by the single season, they're the top 3 statistical quarterbacks. I feel like any Pro Bowl list without Patrick Mahomes is weird, but I get it. Those 3 all had better statistical seasons. Running backs, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Anybody have an issue with it?
No.
Okay. Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right. Wide receivers. Somebody throw me off a bridge. There has to be. This can't be right. I haven't even looked at the AFC until right now, and I'm mad. Wide receiver starter number 1, Jamar Chase. That's easy. That's easy, right? Anybody want to guess who his counterpart is if you didn't see it?
I saw it, so I won't say.
This is so unbelievable. This can't be real.
I can't remember off the top of my head who the other receiver is.
You can't remember off the top of your head?
Come on, his counterpart.
Jerry Jeudy is starting at wide receiver in the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, 4-game stretch.
I guess that's a terrible. There's nobody better in the AFC.
Oh, that's right, because like Zay Flowers got the 3rd spot or whatever.
Nico Collins and then Zay Flowers, but like
Nico's been hurt a lot too.
There's nobody better in the AFC. What am I missing? We couldn't just throw Devontae Adams or Garrett Wilson in there just so it looks better. Throw Tyreek Hill in there.
Well, I mean, Tyreek Hill's had a down year with that Miami quarterback situation.
Jerry Jeudy doesn't belong in a Pro Bowl.
Hey,
he's going to show up and be like,
Shout out to Cleveland fans because they clearly stuffed the ballot box for him. But I don't know.
This isn't where I parked my.
I mean, if I was thinking like I would have gone like Tank Dell, guys like that. Jerry Jeudy definitely was a big surprise. I mean, Tank Dell obviously hurt, but
tight ends Brock Bowers and Travis Kelce. The funny thing is this. The funny thing is this, right? Travis Kelce doesn't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
But I have a really tough time replacing him.
Right.
Like, who am I replace him with? Jonnu Smith?
Jonnu's had a really good year.
Like, yeah, he has. But, like, do you feel good having Jonnu Smith over Travis Kelce in the Pro Bowl? Travis Smith wasn't even drafted in my fantasy football league.
He did have a really good year, though. He did come.
He did.
I'd be okay with it as long as just based on this season. I'd be all right with it if Smith cracked it over Kelce. It'd feel weird, but I'd be okay with it.
After 3 or 4 guys, tight end's a damn wasteland.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Andrews. I don't know. I'll keep Kelce there. Do you think Kelce should be in the Pro Bowl, Chase?
No.
Okay. And then the offense.
And just to real quick, just to shout at what Godfrey said, that is the prime reason why you should never have a tight end spot in fantasy football.
If I could get people to agree to that,
abolish kickers.
I already did it.
Get rid of the tight end spot. It should be
an extra wide receiver.
Yep, wide receiver or flex.
Yeah,
that's how it should be.
In my league, I got rid of defense, special teams, and I got rid of kickers.
Yep,
their brain would have exploded if I got rid of tight ends too.
Well, we'll get to the NFC, Trogan. He's an NFC guy, so we can't really get into that. Oh, Jesus Christ. This guy's really after you, Kyle.
Apparently.
He likes you. I don't know. I'm going to stop posting his comments. They're inappropriate. Deion Dawkins, Laramie Tunsil, Rashawn Slater are your tackles. Quentin Nelson, Joe Tooney, and Trey Smith are your guards. Creed Humphrey and Tyler Lindenbaum are your centers. Offensive line's kind of boring, guys. Can we just move past that? Anybody have a snub they want to talk about? No? Yes? Okay. All right. Let's move on to the defensive side of the ball. You got Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, and Max Crosby. He's listed as outside linebacker. See, the Pro Bowl needs to change this. Edge rusher and interior lineman need to be positions and not outside linebacker. Like, it's dumb that Myles Garrett and TJ Watt are listed as 2 different positions. Am I wrong to say that?
No, not at all.
Just go interior defenders and edge rushers. Just change it. It's dumb. But it's I don't have any issue with that group of people. I do think Zach Allen should be on the interior. They're never going to talk about him, but they're going to put Nnamdi Madubuike over him. I don't agree with that. The interior is Cameron Hayward, Chris Jones, and Nnamdi Madubuike from the Baltimore Ravens. I think they just looked at the top 3 defenses in the AFC and were like, yeah, let's just throw this Mbuke guy. I know Madubuike is a good football player, but if you've not watched what Zach Allen has done in for Denver, he's been an absolute force. Like, he's been unbelievable for that defense.
And Madubuike is having a down year.
Yeah, 100%. And like for edge rushers, like I get Crosby being there, and I get people that would want Will Anderson or Danielle Hunter. Like, I understand that. Will Anderson missed too many games. Danielle Hunter, I just don't know if I would put him in there. I don't think he's the best edge rusher on his own team. Is that fair that we're there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Outside linebackers, Nick Bonito got the starting job. TJ Watt and Khalil Mack. Any issues there? All right.
No.
And then your interior linebackers are Roquan Smith, Zaire Franklin. Your cornerbacks are Stingley, Surtain are your starters. Marlon Humphrey and Denzel Ward are your backups.
I see Humphrey get picked on a lot. I mean, I guess.
Bro, there's no way Christian Gonzalez shouldn't be in over Marlon Humphrey.
I mean,
You watch
that's where I'm
them
going with
play
it.
football, if you watch them
Humphrey,
play
every
football,
week I'm seeing quarterbacks pick Humphrey apart. Like, how did he get this spot?
John Suggs is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
You watch these guys play football, Christian Gonzalez should be starting.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't want to go too. I don't want to be too rude to Marlon Humphrey. Minka Fitzpatrick, you're starting free
Marlon
safety.
Humphrey is trash juice. I'm sorry. He got abused all year.
Yes.
And then Kyle Hamilton and Derwin James are your strong safeties.
Right.
Any issues there?
No. Hamilton's the clear star of that secondary. No.
Okay. Let's move over to the NFC. I think that was fun. Let's just knock out the NFC. I think there's going to be a little bit more arguments here just because I'm an Eagles fan and I think that a couple Eagles got snubbed, and I get it. I understand, but Jared Goff, Jaden Daniels, Sam Darnold, that is not the quarterback room. You got Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, with Patrick Mahomes not making the team. Then I just go to the other side. We're like, Sam Darnold, Jared Goff, rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels. What the hell is going on?
I mean, it speaks to how crazy the NFC's kind of been. Like, if you look at those names and you look at their season, you're like, I get it. But before the year, if you thought Sam Darnold was going to be a Pro Bowler, like you'd been crazy.
Hey man, Jared Goff, 71% completion percentage, 36-10.
Oh, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. I'm just saying that it's not.
It is weird.
Quiet, sneaky good season. Yeah.
I think you can make a good argument that, Baker got snubbed. He's been putting together a really good year for Tampa.
Baker definitely got snubbed. Baker should have made it over Jaden Daniels. That's just my opinion, but that might be a little hate for me. That's okay.
Yeah, except they crapped the bed against the Cowboys. I mean, that game is kind of like.
I mean, Jared Goff had a 5 interception game, and they still put him in.
Well, yeah, Baker's having a good year. 39 touchdowns, but he's got 15 interceptions. It's a lot of interceptions. And I don't know. It's tough.
He should replace Jaden Daniels.
Well, that's the PR pick for the Pro Bowl, maybe. I don't know. Like,
I would keep Jaden Daniels. I think what he's done with Washington. But yeah, I do think Baker should get in. I don't know out of the three who I would
got to replace one though, bro. You can't say someone to get in and not replace one.
It would be Jaden Daniels for sure.
Okay.
As much as I want to take out one of the other two,
it would have to be. I mean, Jaden Daniels has done well. He's had some lucky games. He looked like dog crap the first 2 games of the season. There's some games where you're like
a rookie to start off slow. Like he's come on for sure.
He's come on.
The running backs are perfect in every sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
It's Josh Jacobs, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then Saquon starting. Anybody have any issues with that? If you do, I don't know. Like I was looking at the snubs list earlier, and they're like Bucky Irving. No, dude, over who? No, you got to replace someone. You can't just say Bucky.
They got to make content, Gene. They got to make content. Bucky Irvin's a joke.
The only wide receiver issue I have is, listen, it's probably not an issue, but it just feels weird. Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, and Terry McLaurin. I just feel like A.J. Brown should be in that position. But that's the Eagle in me talking. I should just shut up. I can't have an Eagle at every position, and it's okay. But A.J. Brown is definitely more of a force than Terry McLaurin, just being clear.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin's having a really good season, but I mean, CeeDee Lamb's been battling injury a lot. I don't know. I think they could have got some other people in there, but
okay.
Someone's got to take their spot, right? CeeDee Lamb's not playing. That's for sure.
Tight end spot, George Kittle, Trey McBride. That's the easiest. There's no argument there. Here's where I have just a little bit of an issue. Does anybody else feel like there should be more than 3 tackles in the Pro Bowl in the NFC? Like, they have 2 starters. You should at least have a backup for each starter. Am I wrong?
What is a flag football game?
I get it. Can we get 2 people at every position? Is that not
makes sense?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
You got 3 running backs, only 1 starts.
Yeah.
And look, because the only reason I say there should be 4 starters, I mean, not four starters, but 4 tackles, is because I don't want to remove Lane Johnson, Penei Sewell, Tristan Wirfs. All 3 of them deserve to be in the game, but it's hard for me to argue with Jordan Mailata, who's had statistically the best season for an offensive tackle in football and isn't in the Pro Bowl. Like, Jordan Mailata should be starting the Pro Bowl. But I'm from Philadelphia. I watch Eagles games. I'm telling you right now, Jordan Mailata is better than Lane Johnson. Lane got there by name recognition. He's good. He's great. But Jordan Mailata is better now. He's past him.
Might be giving him that veteran nod. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. But, like, Jordan Mailata is the better story. You got a guy that went drafted in the 7th round, an Australian rugby player. They drafted a left tackle in the 1st round the year that this guy got drafted in the 7th round. They redshirted him for 2 years. Now he's the best left tackle in football.
And not his PFF grade isn't even just the best tackle grade. It's just the best grade in football, period, which is insanity.
Great. Jordan, that's disrespectful. Landon Dickerson, Tyler Smith, Chris Lindstrom are your guards. Frank Ragnow and Cam Jurgens are your centers. Any issues there?
No.
Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary are your ends.
I don't think Rashawn Gary should be there. It feels like he's really underperformed this year relative to what he's getting paid. He's not winning his one-on-ones as consistently as you'd like. So
it's funny you say that, because Chase Young, who is one of those guys that everyone hates now, and that's fine. He quit on the 49ers. Like, there's all the videos of him not running for that one play in the NFC Championship game. Chase Young is the guy that should have the position.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a good year in New Orleans.
Yeah, no, absolutely love Rashawn Gary, but he should not be going to the Pro Bowl.
Jalen Carter, Dexter Lawrence, and Vita Vea are your interior. And then they just load Vikings. Vikings defense. I don't know. Can you put Brian Flores on this defense? Because all these guys, don't take this the wrong way. I know football and I watch a lot of football. Jonathan Greenard. Did you guys know? I'm not did you know who he was before the season?
Knew the name, yes. Didn't necessarily know the player, good, great, bad, or anything like that. But I knew the name, yeah.
Because if you knew who he was, that's fine. Just tell me where he played before. Where did they get him from? Not you.
Okay.
No. Does anybody know where he played last year?
Who?
Was it New England?
No.
No.
It's the Texans.
Yeah.
But Brian Flores made him into a Pro Bowler.
Yep.
I think it's very interesting to see Andrew Van Ginkel, who's getting Defensive Player of the Year nods. He's starting. He's an absolute ball hawk in that defense. And then rookie Jared Verse for the Los Angeles Rams. Great work for them. Mm-hmm. Fred Warner and Zach Bond, 2 highest graded PFF linebackers, are your interior. And then the one big issue I have with this, Xavier McKinney starting at safety, that's easy. Brian Branch should be starting over Budda Baker, but I'm not going to argue if you have Budda over Brian Branch. Okay. The only issue I have with this team, well, the only other issue outside Jordan Mailata should be a starter. The cornerback room is Jalen Johnson. I think he's one of the best corners in football. I think he's so underrated. Byron Murphy plays on the Vikings, and he has been incredible this year in that defense. Devin Witherspoon, who I think is the next one, right? We talked about PS2 a couple years before. PS2 is now the Defensive Player of the Year. Devin Witherspoon is the next PS2. He's incredible in Seattle. I'm sorry. I don't want to be this guy, but it's not everybody gets in award. J.C. Horn should not be a friggin' Pro Bowler over Quinyon Mitchell of the Philadelphia Eagles, who literally should be the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Quinyon Mitchell has been locking people down in Philadelphia, but because he's a rookie and they don't throw to his side of the football field often, he didn't get in over J.C. Horn of the Carolina Panthers. Are we serious right now?
That's crazy.
Carolina is playing better, but I can't say that I watched J.C. Horn like that to go, that guy deserves to be a Pro Bowler.
When you're starting fantasy football players, Kyle, do you go, I don't want to start a wide receiver versus the Panthers. J.C. Horn's going to lock him down?
No.
No.
He wasn't that good this year. That's I don't know if it's just name. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like you would actually, not only would you not start someone, you would sometimes target him depending on the matchup. That's how bad of a season he's had. Actually, that's what's surprising to me.
All right, guys. We do have a couple games this week to get into, and just want to get your opinions on them. And then we'll get like a quick. Well, next week we're gonna do our obviously our whole playoff breakdown, but I'm gonna talk a little shit to Guardy 3 at the end of the show. But I'm gonna start with this. What percentage chance do you give the Chiefs backups to win at Denver?
I'd give them like it's still a solid like I would still give them a solid like 40.
40?
I think the Broncos should be favored, but listen, when you have Andy Reid and a rookie who hasn't necessarily played in maybe this big of a game, a win and get in game for his team at the NFL level, it's different. So I don't know how Bo Nix is going to look with all that extra pressure on him. And that's still Andy Reid on the sideline who can make magic happen. So I think this will be a close one.
Chase, how many people are playing from the Chiefs?
The only people that they've announced that are sitting are like the starting offense, and that's it. And then Andy Reid in press conferences has talked about resting. I mean, I'm sorry, man. Like, there is nothing that impresses me about Denver. Bo Nix. Like Bo Nix impresses me because of his rookie season.
Yeah.
Like I said a couple weeks ago, in 8 to 10 years, he'll be a great free agent signing for the Atlanta Falcons. But I'm giving the Chiefs a 67% chance to win this.
67%.
Yeah.
Good.
At Denver? I
don't know. I go 5%, 10%.
Well, what works for the Chiefs is usually teams that have sustained success, they build with depth. So you're going to probably see some guys that haven't gotten a chance who will be like, this is their chance to shine, and they may do something. I agree with Guardy that since Bo Nix is a rookie, we don't know how he's going to look in this big of a situation. So I do think the Chiefs have – I probably would have gone like 25%, but I think they have a chance for sure.
Can someone help? Yeah, Godfrey, sorry.
Nix is good, but I do, when I watch him throw his deep ball, I feel like it's a prayer and a hope. Like the Angels of the outfield are coming up. Some of the deep balls up. I'm like, overall, played really good under Sean Payton. Well, he wasn't known for his deep ball, right? Coming in.
No, I know, but he has two of the nicest deep balls I've seen this season. The one he threw last week was incredible.
The Mims?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's played really well. We'll see what happens when he's in that spotlight. The Chiefs, I think I've seen backups, and you have too, Gene, under Andy Reid come out and perform as well.
Yeah,
right?
Patrick Mahomes. That's actually that's where he's got to start. Last week of the season.
Chad Henne.
Yeah.
Matt Moore. Matt Moore was just 4 years ago, guys. He won.
Carson Wentz.
Pat Mahomes was out with that knee injury for 4 or 5 weeks, and Matt Moore won enough games for us to still land the number 1 seed at the end of the year.
If there's anybody that could iron out some of the kinks that's in Carson Wentz game, it's an Andy Reid coaching staff. Man.
I bet Andy Reid has a real come to God moment with him, talking about like, hey man, this isn't about you. You should shut the hell up and not be a moron. Because Carson Wentz's biggest issue has been his attitude towards his teammates.
Yeah. And who are the Chiefs going to have run the ball?
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt, or is it going to be Pacheco, or is it going to be P. Ryan, who's looked pretty good this year?
Probably be P. Ryan. Pacheco is not. I think they're saving him for the playoffs, or he just hasn't.
I would get
looked
him
himself
as much work
yet
as I
since
could.
he's come back. You know what I
I'd
mean?
give him as much work as I could if I was the Chiefs.
They might be holding back on him though. I was surprised at the lack of carries he's
I
gotten in the
actually
last
think
couple
Kareem
weeks.
Hunt looks better than Pacheco right now, from when I watch Chiefs football games.
It's
Am I wrong?
possible with coming off that injury. Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
Chase,
disagree.
Chase, you break him down a lot. Am I wrong there?
No, I mean that's a possibility, especially with him coming off the injury. But Pacheco's a different type of like he plays really, really hard.
He's a forceful runner, so he's got to be
Yeah.
going at 100%. You can't that style of run.
But I mean, who's on the Chiefs depth chart? Like obviously the game plan is going to be to run more than throw.
You know
with
who's on the
Carson
depth chart. You know who they're going to play. The Great White Hype. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Carson
exactly.
Steele.
Yeah, Carson Steele and Michael P. Ryan are probably going to get a lot of carries, but
I heard
you know.
Carson Steele ran backwards in his 40 time because he's so slow.
Yeah.
For running back, like it's ridiculous.
That kid,
the hype he
that
got
kid had some,
was ridiculous. I think.
well, he had some massive issues holding on to the football, so he was one of those preseason darlings that was everybody was like, "Oh man, he's so cool." No,
Can someone help me understand why the Dolphins Jets spread is 1?
So I said, look,
Woody Johnson sent in Madden lineups.
But why is the spread 1? The Jets just got the shit kicked in versus
I mean,
Bill.
Tua's out, right?
It says he's questionable.
Chiefs,
He's limited practice.
did you see Tyreek Hill wished everybody Merry Christmas, and then especially his old team, the Kansas City Chiefs?
I didn't know. I didn't see that.
Yo, did you you know, would it be sinister if Woody Johnson stepped in and made them sit Aaron Rodgers so he couldn't get his 500 TD pass?
I don't know. Snoop Huntley would start for them if Tua doesn't play.
They're saying he's already going to play, aren't they?
Daniel acts like football is a foreign language. The offense just completely looks like pedestrian. That's why.
He's an overrated coach.
And the game's in New York. It's a little cold up there. We know how Miami plays.
So what you're saying to me is the Bengals have a chance. Is that what you're telling me? The Bengals have a chance to get in.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be the greatest thing to happen for the NFL because wild card weekend, you'd get Burrow at Allen, and then you'd be able to get one of those guys playing against Lamar Jackson in week 2, and the NFL would be literally salivating.
Yeah, Tua's out. I mean,
So he's questionable.
No, he's out. He was ruled out a couple of days ago. I'm looking at it, right?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's out.
That's why the line is where it is. McDaniel cannot coach when Tua's not the quarterback.
Dude,
and
listen,
even with Tua's
4
there,
hours ago,
it's questionable.
Model limited at practice.
I think McDaniels is one of the most overrated coaches in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. Like, you know, you look at the good teams, they're going to have some depth or kind of have a plan together for their backups. And like, you know, they should have kept Michael White. Like they could have been serviceable with him. All you got to do in that offense.
He's not out, bro. I read it again. It says,
are you sure?
They approached the day that Tua didn't practice on Wednesday as if Stu Huntley would be the quarterback because Tua didn't practice. That's what you're reading.
He's still questionable as of today.
But, all right. So you're telling me the Bengals have a chance?
Yep.
Absolutely.
I hope the Bengals make the playoffs. That would be incredible. I really appreciate 10.5-point favorites at home. If the Broncos blow this, it would just be incredible for me because I would love to see the Bengals in the playoffs. And sorry, Josh Allen, but that's a matchup I just love to watch.
I would love to see Sean Payton not make the playoffs.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. So
Sean Payton's a guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
Huge bush. I'm just kidding. All right. Last question of the evening, and then we're going to wrap up. Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings, Sunday Night Football. Who do you got and why? We'll go around the horn. Kyle?
Hold on. Wait, what was the match again? I completely blanked out.
The Lions, Vikings. The only matchup this week. Sunday Night
I know. Exactly. I should have thought about that. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I probably would have been like 10 toes down on the Lions, but don't know. Vikings are definitely making me question it, but I've been with the Lions most of the season. I'll say that they find a way that they get it done, and they claim the division. So I'll take the Lions in a close one. Let's go. So 27-24.
Am I the only one that just can't view Minnesota as a 1 seed? I just can't view it.
It's crazy, but I mean, we're here.
86% of the money's on the Lions and the spread's only 3. That tells me the NFL is going to make Minnesota win this game. I just can't view it. Brett, who wins the game? Why?
You know what? I think it's going to be a close one. It's going to be tough, but I still think the Lions pull it out.
You know why it's 6 moment? What's going on right now?
Yeah. We're going to miss you, Chase.
I'm worried here.
At the end of the day, it should be a close one. I know the Lions are dealing with a myriad of injuries, but they still somehow always seem to pull it out. And I'm going to go with the Lions, and I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than people think. I'll go 20-17. Lions barely pull it out.
I'm going to go to Godfrey and then Chase because I know Chase is doing his Godfrey.
Man, it's close, but it's in Detroit, right? So
yeah, it's in Detroit.
I mean, Dan Campbell's playing it down. He's like, it's not like it's the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's exciting, but it's not like it's playoffs. That's a direct quote. So, I'm gonna go with the Lions here. It's a close one, but I'm gonna give it to him just because it's home field advantage. It's a tough assignment for the Vikings to pull off. I mean, it'd be wild to me I agree with Gene to think about like if the Vikings win, they're the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Oh, it's like the loser of this game is eliminated.
Yeah, it's
not eliminated, but you got to win 3 road games to win to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and
you know, good games. The loser of this game is eliminated.
Yeah. Well, listen, as an Eagles fan, I want to cheer against the Vikings. I'm still salty about Joe Webb on a Tuesday night, so I'm just
the reason you're cheering against.
Yeah,
the
listen,
I want the Vikings to play in Wild Card Weekend just because it would be funny. Last time I saw the Vikings, they were getting knocked out of the playoff by Danny Dimes, and I want to see if history repeats itself.
Okay, Chase.
I'm going to go with Detroit. It's super close. I mean, I damn near had to flip a coin to pick, but obviously was looking at some money numbers prior to us jumping on. Little funny thing here. Baltimore is favored by 20.5 points over Cleveland. Love it.
What I mean, that's a lot. I don't care what any NFL game you do. 20.5 is a lot. 20.5 points is a lot. I would be tempted to take 20.5. I mean, that is wild. Wow. What's the plus? What's the plus the money line on that?
Plus
1,300.
It's called throwing your money away.
I'll put 50 on the 20.5 and 50 on the money line. That's what I'll do. I'll do it.
I'll take the Lions for the only reason I just can't see the Vikings being the 1 seed. That's all I got. Does anybody else have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No. Ravens back into the playoffs after getting beat by the Valley Zappy Browns.
We'll talk about. It's funny. We'll talk about tomorrow. We'll talk about or next week. We'll talk about the playoff preview. We'll get into that. We'll have our whole playoff seeds. But any final thoughts?
It's been a wild season in the NFL. Can't wait.
Oh, I forgot. Should the Eagles start? Just quick answer. Kyle, Brett, Chase. Should the Eagles be playing Saquon Barkley and their starters to chase the record?
Yes, I feel like anytime you can get a record, why not? I understand why they're doing what they're doing, but I'm just saying.
I'll tell you why not. I'll answer why not.
Yeah. If the league was different, if you could argue that Saquon Barkley could win the MVP legitimately, like not should he, like legitimately argue, like if that's how the NFL handed out MVPs, if it wasn't a glorified, really good quarterback award,
Yeah.
then I would be like, yeah, absolutely. But no.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I don't think so. Because in order for him to get it, then you probably need to start your starting offensive line, and then you probably have to bring in at least one real receiving weapon. And we've seen what happens. We saw AJ Brown go down in a meaningless game just last year. Do we really want to really test fate and do it again? The answer is no.
AJ Brown busted his knee up in a meaningless game versus the Giants last year, and the Eagles looked like a shell of themselves in the playoffs. They had no receiving weapon, and yeah, I don't know what to tell you. If you guys
There's too many communists on this show. Okay, start them. Start Saquon Barkley. Okay.
Any final comments, gentlemen? We're gonna wrap up.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Jory talking about the best celebration dances between the Lions and the Vikings. I've enjoyed
I just seen that.
I've enjoyed them kind of bringing some type of fun with the celebrations and everything like that. I know some fans or whatever, but I enjoy that with them. And then John, I would bring back Mayo. I know all the Vrabel talk is out there, but I can't. My head can't handle firing a guy after 1 year for losing.
That you knew you were going to lose.
For winning the same amount of games as Belichick did with basically the same roster last year.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Final thoughts, Scardy 3.
A great show, a lot of fun. Can't wait to be back next week. Check out the N1 podcast in a half hour.
And 1. Chase, any final thoughts?
Nah, man. I'm enjoying getting back into this. Love talking football with you guys, and yeah.
Just know if it's Eagles Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I'm blocking you for 3 weeks.
That's all right. That's all right.
The 1 week prior and the 2 weeks after, regardless of what happened.
All right.
Godfrey.
Hey, nothing. Just free Saquon. Let him start. Go Eagles.
I appreciate everybody tuning in this week to Sideline the Sideline. That is the Prince of Production, Kyle Edwards. He's not guarding the 2, Godfrey. He's guarding the 3. My man Chase from CR Media, Mr. Wrestling himself, wrestling above anything, and my man taking it deep. He's THWGODFREY, the Godfrey, and I'm the NFL Genius Gene Walls. And we are signing out.